What's going on, everybody? This is the Defender of Comics, and I am Coach.
Hey, Ace is here.
And
What's
we
up?
just saw WandaVision episode 9, the finale. I don't know what
Oh
anybody's
yeah.
complaining about. It was freaking good.
Yeah, I was I loved it. I thought it was great.
What were you worried about most going in? Like, they're still going into this. There's still 100% answers that weren't answered at all, or questions that were not answered. But I
Oh
didn't.
yeah.
It didn't bother me.
No, I felt like they answered most things and left things open to be explored later.
Yeah.
So I felt like the story of this story was completed and we're left to follow up with Wanda later.
I don't want to get
So,
in too many spoilers. I
right.
mean, it is Friday night, so there can be people that haven't seen this yet.
Yeah.
But we will get
Well,
into spoilers pretty heavy
yeah,
here
we're going
pretty
to get
quick.
into spoilers. Well, yeah, spoilers are incoming.
Do you, just without spoilers, do you rank this up? If you want to compare this to movies, and we don't have any kind of series yet to compare this to, can you compare this to movies, putting it all together on where it would be for you?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we've become big fans of Wanda and Vision now, or Scarlet Witch. Who hasn't if they've watched the show?
Yeah.
And that's the advantage of having a weekly show or almost 6 hours of time with these characters. You get to become, you get to know them, you spend time with them.
Yep.
Whereas a movie is you've got an hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours and that's it. So that's an advantage here.
And
Now it's slower paced because it's
right.
you know,
And I'll say this:
go ahead.
Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen, they proved that they are stars. And I hope they get some award nods for this.
I definitely think they should. I've been a Paul Bettany fan though since A Knight's Tale way back when with Heath Ledger. I thought he
I
was
do
great in
remember
that,
that.
but yeah, he's phenomenal in that as was Chaucer. But anyway, yeah, I think they both raised their game and were excellent.
Hmm.
Excellent. And they would be robbed if they didn't get some kind of recognition.
Okay, so you ready to go in to dive deep into this whole
Yeah, let's
show?
dive deep. Let's
Okay.
do it.
So we pick up sort of where, and we aren't going to do the same that we do. We normally just try to go in order, but if there's something you want to talk about, just make sure you talk about. But we do pick up right away with, where we left off on episode 8, where Agatha has the twins. And I am really I think Agatha did great on this episode too.
Yeah, she did really great. And I won't go to it yet. I know we're not going to go completely in order, but there's something that I'm like, yep, okay. She's still going to play the role she did in the comics when we get to the end. So I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool. Okay. But yeah, she did a great job. A great antagonist, great villain. Enjoyed the hell out of her. Oh, I'm sick. I can't think of her name, but she's like a character actress and she's been in so many comedies over the years. Always
Are you talking about
extremely funny.
Agatha?
Yeah, I'm talking about Agatha. Um, Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
Thank Catherine Hahn.
And
Super
Greg
funny.
Kane just said, "Hey, the Knight's Tale is where it's at."
Hey, good one, Greg. Yeah, we love A Knight's Tale.
And I mean, hats off to her because she has been always known for being the comedian, and
Hmm.
she played more of a role than just being funny. She did go funny, but I mean, she was serious
Yeah,
on this and a villain and a good villain right here.
yeah, she did a great job. I mean, it just goes to show comedians, they can do drama, they can do it all. So she did a great job. I mean, she's so funny. I remember her in Step Brothers,
Yep.
and
Oh my gosh, yes, that was so
she
good.
that's like my most that's the greatest comedy of all time. Maybe not of all time, but it's up there. It's got to
Don't
be.
touch my drums. I'm gonna put my nuts on your
Prestige
guns.
worldwide. But anyway.
So one thing we find out for sure about, and we already somewhat knew, but she actually didn't say it, but we finally found out what Agatha can do. And she
Yeah.
basically takes the powers
Yeah.
of the witches that don't deserve them, she
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. So in her mind, no one deserves it because she's the most capable
Mm-hmm.
witch, and she deserves it. So, yeah. I mean, she did a great job. Uh, you know,
So
spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
we already
You
said
know,
that. So if you're still in here and now you're mad at us, that's on you.
yeah. You
But
know, she's gonna be around. It seems. So I'm glad for that.
so Wanda is doing her magic against her, and now she starts seeing that her hands changing colors, getting
Oh
old.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's doing to her what she did to her coven back way back when.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, she wants Wanda's power. She's made that pretty clear,
Yep.
and she's trying to tempt her to like, hey, just give me your power, and you can just have this world to yourself, and everything will be fine. But you don't know what you're doing anyway. Just give it to me.
Now, what did you think about the car? And then the
Uh
scene that I'm going to go to now, and there's no reason not to, but the car flying, Wanda putting the car on top of Agatha. Why do you
oh,
feel they went for a Wizard of Oz type
I
of?
was gonna I was gonna say, surely everyone got that
Had to,
reference,
how
right?
could you not?
Yeah, I was like, I loved it. The witch's feet underneath the house, classic scene in The Wizard of Oz. So that was really cool.
Where did those boots come from? Because those weren't Agatha's boots.
I don't know.
So they
Hey,
just crashed into the house and the boots were
yeah.
just there. I thought that
Agatha's
was
kind of
great.
Agatha's kind of funny, so she decided to play a little joke.
And so we now go to where Agatha's now missing for a while, and you have your chance now to see Wanda seeing White Vision for the first time.
Yeah, so this is like she doesn't know what to make of this, and then she walks up to him.
You go
Uh-oh.
for it. I'll follow you.
Yeah, I mean, she walks up to him, and he says something to her like Wanda, and he puts his hands on her face, and I think she's like, oh my gosh, she's real, real,
Yeah.
and then doesn't go so good.
No, because the
So
next thing
he
he's
starts trying
squeezing
to
her.
crush her head. Yeah,
And then I
I'm,
loved
I'm
what he said
crushing
to
your
her.
head. I'm crushing your head.
Did you like what he said to her next?
Oh, what'd he say?
I thought you were very powerful or something.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah,
told me you were powerful.
yeah. I thought they nailed the cold. Obviously, he's a piece of machinery.
Yep. And again,
He
Paul going back and forth between those two
yeah.
did
I mean,
a super job.
he's been given a program, a directive, and he's going to complete it.
Yep.
So
Now, here I come to save the day. We finally
here
get to
comes,
see what I wanted to see, and that's
yeah,
Vision going after White Vision to protect Wanda.
right. Isn't it interesting though that she has constructed another Vision that can go toe to toe with the real Vision's body? I mean, so that the White Vision has all the power minus the Mind Stone, but still he's got all the power. He can turn intangible. He can
Yeah.
turn hard as a diamond. He flies, blah blah blah. And yet this construct that Wanda's made of Vision is can go toe to toe with him. So that's like, whoa, holy
That's showing
cow,
you what she can really do.
what she can do.
And she didn't
Yeah.
even realize that she was doing it, is the crazy thing.
No, she didn't. I guess I don't want to jump too far ahead, but we go into they're fighting, and we have some great action scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Movie quality, obviously. It's weird though to see this for the first time at home.
Yeah.
I'm used to going to the theater and seeing this on the big screen, and then coming home and eventually getting the Blu-ray or whatever. But the action scenes did not disappoint in this episode at all.
And if you're all
But
still in the chat, I want to hear from you all. What did you all think of the action scenes in general? And it can be with the Wanda against Agatha, or it can be Vision versus Vision. Hands down, best action scenes, even better than Superman and Lois. I mean, it just was. I'm not saying anything. You know what I think about Superman and Lois. I'm not saying anything bad about that. But, I mean, action scenes in general were great.
But, yeah, I mean, this one had... They were able to dedicate most of this episode to action beats. Yeah. And, whereas the Superman and Lois episode has a limited time. But, yeah, right. So, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, unfortunately, we're going to talk about the one thing that is absolutely trash with WandaVision. Just plain trash, and I don't have any other good word to say about it.
Yeah, I don't want it to seem like we're going to tarnish what we thought of WandaVision, because it's still a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah,
but
I
this, it may have been a 10, if not for this.
At least explain this a little bit, not just how they did it. Okay,
so, obviously we have Quicksilver's brother, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson. He died, obviously. We get Evan Peters from the X-Men movies, who also was Quicksilver, come to play her brother. So we think, here it is, and we know what's coming. We have Doctor Strange into the multiverse of madness, so we know what's coming. We think, here it is. And everyone's assuming that somehow either Wanda or Agatha has snatched Peter/Pietro from the X-Men universe and has pulled him over here and is having him be Quicksilver. Well, we find out that all the signs were pointing to that not being the case, and we get it pretty confirmed. And not only do we get it confirmed, like we were discussing earlier, it's Iron Man 3 Mandarin level stupid.
I think it's got to be, with how we all were hyped for this, it's got to be up their level, or if not even above it.
I think you're right, Coach. It's above it.
Yeah.
Because we were like, this is Evan Peters.
Why would you bring in X-Men?
Why would you get him to play this role otherwise? And what is his name? Boner.
Ralph Boner.
I feel like they went for the cheap joke.
Why though? Why? I mean,
yeah,
in my opinion, when you go for the cheap joke, it's got to be funny. This wasn't even funny. This was like, I'm going to punch you in the face for teasing you as much as we did. And now I'm not giving you jack shit because I can, and I'm just going to show you how powerful I am to bring in a whole different actor that was Quicksilver with the X-Men, make you start thinking Wanda's opening that universe up, or multiverse up, but we're going to just call him Ralph Boner.
We're gonna like, hey guys, haha, don't you think this was funny and cool? We called him Ralph Boner.
Now the other thing, Agatha always called. Remember, she said Ralph.
Yeah, well, she was crashing in Ralph's house, so Ralph was her whatever.
Yep.
So
it doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh, the only thing we can say about Marvel sometimes, if it's a fault, is they have, and this all started with Guardians of the Galaxy, which I love that movie. But it was lean comedy, but it worked. It totally worked. And so when that hit, it was like, hey, this really works for us.
Right.
And they leaned into it. And at times I think they leaned a little too heavy into that little, hey, let's make a joke, because I forgot about this one. This one trumps Mandarin for me too. So I put this one that I'm going to talk about over Mandarin, but below this Quicksilver deal, because it's number one now. But I thought what they did in Captain Marvel with how they showed how Nick Fury lost his eye is absolutely ridiculous.
Trash.
And it wasn't even funny.
Trash.
It was trash. Total trash.
Yep.
And say, hey, isn't it funny and ironic? Ha, ha, ha. A cat scratch. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, total
Stupid.
trash.
And this feels very reminiscent of that.
Greg says the action scenes were fantastic, way better than Wonder Woman. No,
Ooh, great.
Wonder Woman
You're not wrong though.
1984, I hope. Because I
Yeah,
still
you're
think
not,
Wonder Woman, the
yeah.
first one, was pretty good.
Oh no, don't ever trash Wonder Woman the first one. Wonder Woman 84, dang it, did have some issues. And
Yeah,
it did
it did.
disappoint.
It was still
I
okay.
don't hate it, but it disappointed.
So now Wanda's learning some things from Agatha and the people of the town.
Oh yeah, we were gonna get into that. That was very telling. And that really shocked her,
And I thought
didn't
it
it?
was very emotional. Like,
Yeah.
you could see it on her face that she didn't realize this was actually happening.
Yeah. She really believed that, and she knew what she was doing was wrong because at the end of the day, you're controlling these people.
Right.
But she thought it was peaceful and good and happy, and it was anything but. They were in a living hell.
And they were taken away from their families.
Yeah.
Like, the one lady that came up to her talking about her 8-year-old daughter, can I just see her again?
Yeah, that I think that was crushing for Wanda. Like, oh, that
Yeah.
was not her intention.
Yep.
Granted,
Totally.
the old saying, road to hell paved with good intentions, but yeah, that was not her intention to make these people miserable, but she did.
So
So yeah,
they're all almost, I feel like at the beginning they're all almost attacking, swarming Wanda, and then she again shows how miserable she is and just mentally unstable to where she blows up, and now they're all like getting choked.
yeah, she doesn't know the power she has, and she's had so much trauma that she's overcome with grief. She just can't, imagine if anyone's had extreme trauma or grief at your lowest, and then you have this power that's unbelievable. That's where
Yeah.
you have a bit of a breakdown, and boom, this is what happens.
And now Agatha is trying to explain to her what you're doing, and this is Agatha being very manipulating the
Oh
situation.
yeah, yeah,
And she also knows why she's doing it. Um, but she's convincing her, you need to let these people go. And so Wanda starts opening up the hex and says, I will do it.
yeah.
I will let you all go.
Oh yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I gotta
Again,
open this
though,
hex
a
up.
mental situation, because she's not even thinking about what this is actually going to do. It's just, I'm mentally unstable and I feel bad for what I've done. I need to fix this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, she had a moment of clarity. It's almost like she disassociated. Like, she didn't even know what she's doing. She sometimes when you're driving and you're so deep in thought, and then you get home, you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even, I kind of drove and didn't even realize what I was doing. I was so deep in thought, and I'm here. I mean, I think sometimes she's like that. And now she's kind of been woken up like, oh my gosh, these people are in pain. I can't do this. This is terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna let everybody out. And then what?
Well, now we go, as soon as that starts happening, we see some stellar more fight action between White Vision and Vision.
Ooh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's just great stuff. This is what we want to see too, We're
And
comic
it was
fans.
hard to get some stills on this just because of they were
Yeah.
flying around, but the beams at their head was
Yeah,
amazing.
they're going at it. I loved how they, would turn tangible and then solid and trying to take each other down. It is great. It is a great battle scene,
Now my
which is
son
what you
asked
want
me
to see.
this question, and I
Yeah.
think it's a legitimate question.
All right.
When White Vision was trying to grab the stone out of Vision, the
Yeah.
head, and then Vision just, went through and to where he couldn't do it. He asked me why he didn't do that with Thanos.
So White Vision tries to rip it out and he can't do it.
Because he not disappeared. What am I trying to say?
Oh, because he went intangible.
Yeah.
Why? That's a good. Kids. That's a good point.
And it was right
Why?
away that he said it. Why didn't he
Yeah.
do this with Thanos?
Why didn't Vision go intangible with Thanos?
My only guess was it already happened and he was allowing Wanda to do it. That when he reversed time, the thought process was go ahead and do it because he was already in that mental state to I'm wanting Wanda to do it to save everybody.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you could argue it. I mean, at the end of the day, whoever wrote it was like, well, look,
Yeah.
that's how we would explain it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had to advance the storyline, so he just didn't turn intangible because of tomfoolery.
Okay, Greg asked actually a good question. Do you
All
think
right, let's hear
Wanda
it.
actually did know what she was doing, opening it up and allowing Hayward to come in? She had to have known the agents were still outside the hex.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think she thought, and then we'll get into this next. That okay, I gotta let the jig is up. I gotta open it up. It's over. I'm gonna let everyone out, and if they come in, they come in.
Yeah.
I can't do this to these people. In the back of her head, she's like, I am an Avenger. I'm supposed to be a hero. I can't be doing this. If they're in
Right.
this much pain, then what I'm doing is terrible.
Well, and
So
Agatha even said that to her. You are a hero.
yeah,
Heroes wouldn't do
exactly.
this.
Yeah, this is not what a hero
Yeah.
should do. So that was a good line, and I think that got to her.
Yeah.
But then,
But unfortunately,
oh
because
crap!
the hex has been opened, you see Vision fall. And
Yeah,
now Vision is having what's happened to him when he was on the other side of the X start happening to him here. And
yeah,
then even worse, you start seeing that happening to her kids, the twins.
yeah. I think that was just like that was too much. You can't see your kids start just vanishing in front of you. So it's like, okay, nope, I got to shut it again.
Yep.
Because Agatha told her, like, when you wove this spell, you tied your kids and Vision to the spell.
Yep.
So if you dismantle the spell, they go with it.
And
Like,
that
okay.
debunks a lot of theories in general on that one, though, too. But we can get more to that towards the end. But
Yeah, all the theories are trash. Most 90%. Yep.
but what we were hoping with the twins is introducing the Young Avengers.
Well, and I'll get to that. I mean,
Okay.
they are introduced. They're not going anywhere. The Young Avengers are coming. So
Okay.
that's still true.
All right. So she stops the hex. So she
Yeah.
closes it back up. She saves her kids and saves Vision. And then all of a sudden, when she was saving them, Agatha's right back at her at this weak spot and
Yeah.
hits her again. And she puts the force field around the kids so they can't do anything to her. But
Yeah.
Agatha's taking her powers.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they're ready to. I do like the line where she said, you're not trained for this, but you were born for this. So like, and again,
That haven't happened yet.
oh, okay, that hasn't happened yet.
That hasn't happened yet because it's almost happening because now I have two hands that are going old.
Mm.
And
She's sucking the power out.
Vision talks to the kids, basically, I'm
Hmm.
sorry we haven't had time to talk to you about your powers. And then that's when
Yeah.
she says, you were born for this. And then we
Yeah.
have another nod to the Incredibles, where the family's sitting out there ready to
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I loved it. But I mean, once she says, you're born for this, it's probably a hint, or maybe it was just a good thing to say in the moment. But it's like the kids are going to be heroes too.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. So
I want to know if Greg or anybody else thought it was corny with the Incredibles situation where the family's there together. I thought it was a
do you think?
little corny, not completely. And I do understand. I mean, these kids have only been alive for a week. So for me to
Yeah.
question that they can all of a sudden use their powers, that's just stupid. I mean, they went from 1 to 10 in a week. I should be okay with them being able to use their powers all of a
Yeah, I
sudden.
think that's the point. It's like, hey, yeah, they're growing, they're rapidly accelerating here. So,
But
but I don't know. Do you think everyone got that Incredibles reference? I mean, some people maybe didn't even like, oh, okay, the
maybe
Incredibles.
not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, because
Yeah, that makes
it
sense.
is hard to think of a animation movie to be
Yeah,
any kind of regular movie. So I can see
right.
that point. But I do love what happens next. Vision takes off to go after White Vision.
Yeah.
Wanda takes off to go after Agatha. But the scene between White Vision and Vision on this next one is
Ooh.
epic to me.
Yeah.
It's one of the
Yeah.
best ones, even the fight ones. Standing Streamer says, I didn't pick up on that, but being Incredible's nod makes sense now. See,
Yeah,
he
I mean,
didn't
it's
pick up on it.
yeah, I didn't really either. I mean, it's all Disney. So
Yeah.
it's like, hey, yeah, let's put a
And they had the
little
Incredibles
Incredibles in
on the
there.
movie theater, if you remember
Oh,
that during the
yeah.
Halloween.
So, yeah, it's a subtle nod for sure.
Yep. So White Vision against Vision, and it was like a library, correct? That they
Yeah,
were
I think
in.
they're in the library. Yeah, where they're talking. Yeah, where Vision went to meet the neighborhood watch.
So Vision asks, what are you doing?" And
Yeah.
White Vision says, "I have been gave a basically a job to get rid of the Vision."
Yeah, he knows what to tell him to like, okay, let's question the you need to look at the program you've been given here because you're not executing it properly. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
didn't say that, but that's what he's trying to get at, and is masterfully done.
It was
And so
awesome.
this I can't remember it verbatim yet. I've only watched it once, but his story about the boat and the quandary that he presents to Vision is like, oh, okay, so the computer starts
Oh,
to,
it was about a boat that's in a museum, and
yeah.
now only is a piece of the. It's just a piece of it now, but then they make it into a new boat. Is that
Yeah,
now
so you
considered?
have a relic of a boat and he
Yeah.
used a certain boat and like over time you have to replace pieces that start to rot or that are bad pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Over time you end up placing every piece, is it still that boat?
Yeah.
And so it's basically saying, am I just because you're the shell, the original material, and I'm not, like, am I Vision? Are you not? It back and forth. And it's like, well, they're both Vision.
And I loved what White Vision said. He goes, elaborate.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And I'm just going to go through this Vision part. And then Vision asks for permission to basically touch him on the head to where he
right.
can show that you still have your memories. They're still there.
It's almost like he downloaded them into a White Vision. Like, hey,
Yeah.
I've got them all here. I'm giving them back to you. I'm downloading everything to you so you know who you are.
Yep. And then you see it go gold for a second.
Yeah,
And then his eyes go to basically like human eyes.
yeah. He goes back to the human eyes. So, but I mean, and I will get into this later a little bit, but there's still not, he's still not 100% Vision.
Right. Right.
So, you know,
But it's
and
starting to compute,
yeah.
basically.
I just wonder if that's what they're gonna, pull from the comics is that over time,
Mm.
White Vision was in the comics and he was a soulless computer. And it did end his marriage to Wanda in the comics
Yeah.
permanently. They've really never got back together, but he did regain himself over time. It was a bit of a slower process, but eventually he became the Vision again.
You all in the chat, did you like this back and forth? And I consider this a mental battle compared to what their physical battle was earlier. Now they're in a mental situation, and
Yeah.
I feel the Vision we know basically one upped the White Vision, which I thought was epic. And then where do you think White Vision ended up going when he went through the ceiling?
Well, yeah. Should we talk about that? Like, do we want to
Do you want to
spoil?
do that at the end?
Well, I mean, that's
Because
the question. We don't know where he went.
so I mean I don't know of a good time to talk about it unless we talk about it
Well, let's just
whenever
do it
you
now
want.
because yeah, it's like okay, so that's it. We'll talk about what actually happens here in a little bit with the end of the show, but
Yeah.
this is it. We don't see Vision again. Well,
Right.
we do, but we don't. Okay, we don't see White Vision again.
We don't see White Vision again.
So he flies off with what we are guessing is all of his memories. And he did say something, but I can't remember what it is
When he
at
was
this moment
flying
in
off,
time.
I can't.
He said something and then he flew off. So I need to go back and watch what that was, but
Standing Streamer said he liked it and it was a chess match between the two.
yeah, it was great. Yeah. I mean, whoever's writing the dialogue for Vision ought to be nominated too because they're giving Paul Bettany some great material. I mean, this is really how they've captured. That's one good thing about Marvel. They really do when they get their characters right, they get them right. I
Yeah,
mean, and this is
100% on that.
I mean, this is
Except
such
for
great.
except for Pietro.
Yeah. But man, this is really great Vision stuff because he has gotten shortchanged a little bit in the other movies,
Yeah.
only because they just haven't had the time to dedicate to him since Ultron. Really, he's just kind of been a side character.
Yep.
And it was nice to see them really flesh him out and present him as a Vision. This is a Vision. He's cerebral, but he's super caring, more than humans really. And they did a great job with that.
I agree. I totally agree. Now we can go with what's going back on in the town. And the boys are fighting, basically, they're in charge of fighting the army. And
yeah, they do a pretty good job.
Yeah. And they take all the weapons, but then you see Director Hayward come out. And Monica sees that. And Director Hayward is shooting at the twins. Which
Jerk.
I found, I mean, I know technically he knows that they're not real. But to be shooting at kid is just weird. Because
what a shitbag.
Yeah, exactly. But they didn't even really technically do anything to any of the sword agents. They just took their weapons.
Yeah.
So why come out shooting is sort of confusing for me. But then we see...
Well, he views them as a terrorist threat.
Yeah.
And take him out.
You see Monica finally with her powers. What'd you think of this?
Yeah, this was she's got them. She's fully got her powers. You could see her, turn basically to light.
Yeah.
And that's her power. And so she was able to turn to a just pure energy and stop the inertia of the bullet and just,
I really truly believe Monica didn't realize what she was doing because of her powers.
No, she does. At this point, she doesn't know what she's doing. No, but she has them.
She was just saving the kids.
Yeah, it was an instinct, and she's gonna have to learn how to use it. But that's she's fully powered now. She just doesn't know it.
But one bullet got by.
Yeah.
And then
we
see Billy.
Billy got it, man. He's already got his ability. Well, he did have them already, but he's able to stop bullets now. So
that's pretty big.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
I like that.
He did a nice job.
And now Agatha and Wanda are back and forth fighting, but I guess I never really saw in any of the other ones, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I never remembered Wanda like snapping her fingers and disappearing. Does she do that in any other Avengers movie?
When she just kind of disappears?
What? Yeah, she went from one spot to another spot. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. I've never seen her do that, but again, I might be wrong.
I mean, what can't she do at this point?
That is true. But then she ends up behind Agatha and puts the spell on her.
Yeah, I did like this because that was a throwback to Age of Ultron. And I remember when I first saw Age of Ultron, I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of creepy," because they had her this, stop motion. She looked kind of like something out of The Ring, or
Yeah, yeah,
kind
yeah.
of a demon, almost like scary witch, really. Kind of creep up behind you and do her little thing, and I thought that was cool. So she thinks she's got the upper hand now on Agatha, taking her
Yes, she
back to
does.
her memory like she did to the Avengers in Ultron, and things don't quite go her way though.
I didn't get any photos of this until the big one, but basically they go back to 1863
Yeah,
for the witch trials.
yeah, they go back to her at the stake.
Yep, and like you said, Wanda 100% believes she has Agatha where she wants her. Agatha
Yeah,
at first is like, no, no, no. The zombie witches, is that what you call them now?
yeah, I like it.
They get up and they start walking towards Agatha,
Yeah.
and then they realize who else is there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Who is it? Tell me who it is.
Well, we already know.
Yeah, I do.
All the witches are starting to say Scarlet Witch, Scarlet Witch, Scarlet Witch,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden Wanda just realizes this just flipped on her.
Right.
And by the way, Standing Streamer says he doesn't recall that either. What he's talking about is Wanda disappearing in any other Avengers movie like she did on this one.
Yeah, you're right. I don't recall that particular power set of hers, but like again, what can't she do at this point?
So they put Wanda on the stake. And then all of a sudden, we see for the first time.
Yeah, we see the tiara. I mean, that must be. Well, we go back to Agatha's mom. She kind of had that bluish one
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
manifested for a minute. So it must be a witch, a powerful witch, witch's symbol, basically, or sign of power. And the Scarlet Witch has one, and she has it. And so,
That you bring up the blue one is when Agatha is talking to Wanda and saying you are more powerful. Did she say the sorcerer witch?
oh, hey, good, 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 good. Yes, she brings up you are more powerful. Uh, I think she said the Scarlet Witch is supposed to be more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme,
Yes, yes.
which is Doctor Strange, or whoever has the title. The
Really?
Sorcerer Supreme, of course, is whoever has that title. Before Doctor Strange, it was the Ancient One, and
Yep.
when she died, she knew Stephen Strange was the new guy.
Okay.
And by the time he takes on Thanos in Infinity War, he's fully the Sorcerer Supreme. I mean,
That's
he's
why he did
the
it
guy.
what a million different ways until he
Right.
found the right way.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is one thing. I mean, when we're talking about this, it's like, oh man, I cannot wait to see Doctor Strange and Wanda kind of probably go at it a little bit.
So what do you think about that? How many people caught on? And Standing Streamer said Sorcerer Supreme. He also said maybe the only reason that Wanda can disappear is because it's inside the hex, and maybe the rules are different for her inside the hex. But
Yeah, that's probably
I think
true.
a little bit of it is that her powers are becoming more and more and more. Is my
Yeah, I
guess.
mean, I think you're both right. It's like, yeah, she may have created the hex where she can do what she wants, but she still did it because it's her power. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What? So elaborate. This is very very interesting. Elaborate a little bit on what this could mean that Wanda is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme.
Well, the Sorcerer Supreme is the guardian of all realities, as the Ancient One taught him and told him, Stephen Strange.
Yep.
So there is one Sorcerer Supreme, and then all the assistants that you get from your. And we'll have to find out in Doctor Strange 2 who's left of that school from Doctor Strange 1. Obviously Wong is coming back, but I don't know how many others are still going to be there. But he is the guy now. He has the role. He's the Ancient One's role. He's the guardian of the multiverse. and Doctor Strange is such a cool character. He's one of my all-time favorites. Um, I never thought Doctor Strange would be a hit movie, and here it is. It was a hit. It's like phenomenal. But that he guards the Earth from all these supernatural threats all the time.
Yeah.
You know, he's constantly doing stuff that nobody knows. I mean, love Spider-Man to death, but he's taking care of the street stuff.
He's taking care of the robbers.
And Doctor Strange is like, well, that's nice.
That's cute.
But I just saved the Earth 3 times this morning from, you know, extraterrestrial demonic threats or interdimensional threats. So the fact that she would be more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme could be very bad.
Yeah, and that's what they're worried about, correct?
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, we can get into this a little more, but that's what Agatha knows, that that's the power that she has, because it was supposed to be a myth that this could even happen.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, hey, you know, a myth is like Hercules. Like for us, as you know, we study Greek myth. Oh, Hercules, you're just a myth. Oh, wait, he's real?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Here
You
it
gotta
is.
be kidding me.
All right, so now Wanda just decides, I'm done playing games. I mean, basically that's what she did. Just blew out. So all the witches turned back to dead zombies instead of live zombies. Besides, it didn't even phase Agatha when that happened, though. Did you notice that?
Yeah, she didn't care.
So now they're going to go battle for a little bit, and I don't have anything until Wanda is starting to turn old. Like, her face
so
and everything.
Is this where we're up in the sky battling?
Yeah, so after this, if you remember, after she blows up and the witches die, she then tackles basically Agatha, and they're back to reality in the Hex, and now they're having a huge battle.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you're right. So you're like, oh crap. You know, Agatha's doing her thing. She's sucking the life force / power out of Wanda, and she's gonna be a dried up husk. So it's happening.
And I thought that was really good, or I always call it graphics, but special effects that they were doing with Wanda to make her look older.
Oh yeah, I mean it's top notch. I mean, still not as many effect shots as Endgame in my opinion, but still.
I mean, what else have they been honest about?
I know.
So what does that have to do with it?
They have engaged in. Oh, I shouldn't say this word. I won't. Tomfoolery. That's what they're doing.
All right.
Yeah.
So Agatha wants all the power. She's saying, "Give me more, give me more." And I'm getting confused. Why is Scarlet Witch just doing more and more shots at her? And I mean, it's very obvious. Agatha's just taking it and basically stealing her power. And it's she
knows what she's doing.
Yeah, it's a losing battle at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, this was I was like, oh, that was Wanda's listening. She's listening.
Mm-hmm.
Very smart. So what happens? She's got the protective glyphs or whatever symbols that Agatha used to render Wanda powerless in the basement of her house.
Okay, now question on these glyphs. And Stain Streamer said this seems great, and I agree.
Yeah.
When she totally missed Agatha several times, like, that's just a bit outside, you know, as a pitcher, as somebody would say. I mean, it wasn't even close.
A bit outside.
Yeah. Is this what she was doing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd have to go back and watch, but I think that makes sense.
And then now we see Wanda turning even more into the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, this was cool. So this was almost like the prophecy fulfilled that she saw when the stone came to her and either granted her powers or activated her mutant gene, whatever. Yeah, so she's fully becoming the Scarlet Witch right here.
Now, question for you. you see there's a shot where Agatha and Wanda's turning into Scarlet Witch, and you see the power. It basically looks like Agatha's power is now going towards Wanda, not Wanda's power going towards Agatha.
Yeah, she just takes it all back. I mean, whatever.
But even some of the purple.
Yeah, she's taken whatever. So, yeah.
So she has basically Agatha's power too, that she can take everybody's power?
Basically, yeah.
So what does she didn't dry her Doctor Strange?
That's the point. Yeah, it's like Doc's he's gonna have his hands full. So he's gonna have to bring in some help, which he's supposed to. Dr. Voodoo's gonna help him out.
And now we see the full-fledged Scarlet Witch, and I'm gonna just say, you can say it because
Can we say this? Can we say this? I don't know. Should we say it?
Yeah, I think it's an obvious one. I'm okay with.
Yeah, she's super hot.
She looked amazing.
I mean, whatever they did, whatever they're doing, it's working for her. So, our wives are okay with it. They're fine.
I mean, 21 years, so I think I'm okay.
I think we're doing okay.
Yeah. She looked awesome. And I loved the outfit. It wasn't overboard, trying to be too. It was very well done.
I couldn't be more pleased with her outfit. Yeah. I'm very excited. I mean, as a comic fan,
do you wish it was a little red, more red?
No, I'm good with it. No,
You're good with
really
the maroon,
I'm
basically.
Okay.
What do you?
I guess if I had, let us know. I guess if I had one little minor thing, maybe put a cape on her. I don't know, but outside of that,
it's nice. It's awesome.
No, it's like, okay, less is more in this case as far as showing, like skin. I guess this was like, okay, yeah,
totally.
This was a good look. It's a good look.
So before we get into what happens with Agatha, I want you to talk. Okay, so Greg says H wishes the outfit was a little tighter and fitting.
Oh, quit. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know if how can it get much tighter?
How can you get tighter?
I mean, it was like spandex and leather.
Yeah.
I don't think it can get tighter. Let's be honest. But anyway,
you can always get tighter.
So Agatha's on the ground, and Wanda's standing over her, and very, very, very looking good. And I think these are some very important things that we hear Agatha say.
What does she say?
Basically, you don't know what you've done.
Oh, yeah. You don't know what you've done to yourself / the turning on the Scarlet Witch power. Yeah. And she's probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then going back and forth saying, I'm going to keep you right here. And again, Wanda is saying, I'm going to keep you safe, because she does understand that people were hunting Agatha. Basically, remember Agatha saying, you'll get used to this, people wanting to burn you, wanting to throw stakes at you. And I think
so she's a witch, and certain people are after her power all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think she has sympathy.
This is what was cool though. For me, it was like, okay, so she's like, hey, don't do this. Don't turn me into the nosy neighbor, please. You're going to need me. You're going to need me to teach you, basically.
Yeah.
And she goes, I know. Or she said, no, she didn't say that. She's like, maybe, but if I need you, I know where you're at.
Exactly.
And so Agatha will end up being the new Loki, not to the popularity of Loki. Maybe she will, but she's going to end up, Wanda's probably going to return to her, and they're going to say, we need your help, and she's going to do it, and you're not going to trust her, but she's kind of good, she's kind of bad. I mean, this feels very Loki-esque.
Yeah, I can see that. Actually, that's a great point.
I mean, she could be, she was bad, but it wasn't like, I could almost see her swinging to the good guys a little bit here. And I think she is going to teach Wanda some things, just like in the comics, where she actually will be her mentor and tutor.
Hmm. Okay, Standing Streamer says he likes that comparison between she's the female Loki.
Yeah,
And I can see
I
that.
really, yeah.
Now, I'm going to be very bad here, and I please, if I don't want to hear comments about this, I'm not trying to be negative, but I always go to how many movies can she actually be in with the age that she is?
Are we talking Wanda?
No, Agatha.
Agatha.
I guess her
How old is
character,
that?
though, she can be
Well,
as old as she
yeah.
wants.
I mean, you can age her because in the comics, again, we've said this before. Agatha's an older woman, I mean, she's a classic looking witch. You know, she's old and gray haired, and so you could age Catherine Hahn up even more and just make her look old.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, okay, I sound horrible now. She's only 47. I
Oh
mean,
my
but at the
gosh!
same time, if you're thinking, look how long Loki has been around, is what I mean.
Right?
I don't see a 47-year-old. Well, I guess Robert Downey Jr. has been. I mean, he's 55, so I guess it can be
Yeah.
done.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, I
Look at
see. I sound
look at
horrible.
Ben Affleck, man. Look what he did to his body at his age.
Yeah, I sound horrible now. Thanks for making me feel better.
Oh my gosh! What have you done, Coach?
Now Wanda and the kids and Vision are all heading home. It's
Now
like
this is where it gets real emotional because it's like Wanda. What did he say to her walking away? Like, I'm gonna get it all back to normal, and something they say to each other, but not for us. And
right
she's like,
away,
no,
and you
no.
could see that. Like they
Yeah, it's
both
like
understood
she's
it like that.
as much as her heartache is gonna ache, as she knows that she can't. This has to end.
Mm-hmm.
This has to end. The spell's gonna have to end, and what that means is what it means.
Yep.
So they go home, and meanwhile the whole spell is starting to shrink already. So it must be going relatively slow, even though it looks kind of fast. But it's shrinking, shrinking, and they're going home and going to spend their last few minutes together.
Yep.
And
They put the kids to bed.
yeah,
Have
and
that
kind of
time.
like, hey, everything's normal. And
Yep.
here's what that was said though to the kids, and this is pretty telling to me. She goes, "Thanks for choosing me to be your mom."
Okay, you gotta go into detail now. You talk to me like I
Well,
know diddly squat.
this really isn't anything comic related per se. So in the comics, they were pieces of Mephisto who became real, and then they were able to manifest back in Young Avengers. So they must be something. There's something, and she grabbed them from somewhere because again, she's manipulating matter.
Yeah.
But where did she create two boys out of?
It was from Evan
So
Peters
yeah, so
being smart ass.
she pulled yeah, she pulled something from somewhere, like probably not even knowing it, and they chose like, yeah, I'll be your mom, whatever they are. Boom. And so she said, thanks for choosing to be my mom. So it's like, okay, they're gonna go back to whatever they were after the spell ends, but they're gonna come back.
I like that. I thought the exchange between Elizabeth Olsen, and I'm gonna just say it that way,
Yeah.
and Paul Bettany was fantastic right at the
Yeah.
end here. Like,
Yeah, it's really good.
this is a movie scene right here. This isn't a
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
series scene. And they're watching the Hex come in, and Vision is just talking to her, and I can't, man, if somebody in the chat can help us, I can't remember how it was said about, they were talking about memory. He asked Wanda, what am I? And
Yeah.
then, how did they say the goodbyes and all that? We've said goodbye
Well,
before, but we've gotten to
What?
say hello.
Yeah, I can't remember, but this is the line that stuck with me was she says, "You're a piece of the Mind Stone that was in me."
Yeah,
Now, when did she get a piece of the Mind Stone? I mean, do
I
we
guess
know
when it
that?
exploded into yellow.
I mean, yeah, yeah, maybe so. When she got her powers, maybe she's always had a little piece of the Mind Stone in her. Maybe that's what they were trying to show. So way back when she was with Hydra,
Yeah.
she got a piece of that, and so that's how she was able to manifest really Vision's soul per se.
Okay, before we get too far in, Stanley Streamer is asking this. The Darkhold book was in Westview. She must have grabbed them from the book, which is why we hear them at the. Oh, I don't want to get there yet. Why we hear them at the end, because they went back to the book.
Well, thanks for that reminder. Let's just remember that Agatha, if we rewind a little bit, when she's battling Wanda, she has the Darkhold. She says, she tells Wanda about the
Mm-hmm.
Scarlet Witch being this prophecy, and so she's reading the Darkhold to her in battle. So we see the Darkhold,
Yep.
and so Wanda's introduced to it the first time ever. And so the Darkhold, as we've talked about before, is this ancient book written by the equivalent of like the devil and Marvel's equivalent. Not Mephisto, which is another devil, but Chthon. So yeah, and we'll get to that scene here in just a few minutes about the Darkhold, which makes me think, okay, I'm thinking one way about Wanda, and now I'm thinking something different.
Yeah. Okay, now this next scene I love again because Disney
Mm-hmm.
Marvel gets it right with the comics
Yeah.
where Vision sheds a tear.
Oh yeah, yeah. Even an android can cry. It's a
Yep.
very famous scene from the late '60s, early '70s. John Buscema art. Even an android can cry.
Yep. I
I
got it
remember
up
reading
so
that
they can
as
see that.
I remember reading that as a kid, thinking, "Geez, Vision, why are you such a wuss?"
But I thought that whole end scene, and now he they said Stanley Streamer tells us we've said bye before, which means we'll say hello again. And you see Vision just going completely away, turning into light basically, and Wanda's holding his
Yeah,
face and then just gone. And I
yeah,
thought
yeah,
that, I mean, I applaud that. I thought that was great.
yeah. It's really, really sad. Good stuff there, man. Really, really good. Then the house is gone, and we're back to just the foundation, and
Yep.
there it is. So she's resigned to the fact that this really wasn't real. And she probably feels a little better that she had more time with Vision in a sense, but she's resigned to the fact that this is wrong, and I have to. This is over. I've got to go.
Yep.
So
So now we have the cutscene that we were wanting. The end
well,
scene.
yeah. I mean, we have the scene too where she just leaves. I mean, she goes to Monica, and Monica seems to have befriended her, and Wanda's like,
Mm-hmm.
thank you, and she knows that
They'll
it's
never
like,
know what
okay,
you've done for them. But at the same time, I think that's a bunch of horseshit.
which
Because
part?
okay, when Monica and
Oh, you'll never know what you've done for them. It's like,
they'll never know what you've done for them. So basically, the town people hate her, and Monica
well,
tells
and they
Wanda,
should.
"Yes, Monica, what you just said is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because what did she do
Yeah.
to them?"
As much as I think Monica thought, oh, if I had the power, I'd bring my mom back, and I feel sorry for Wanda. It's like, well, yeah, but that doesn't make it all right what she was doing to these people.
Right.
It's kind of like, I think Wanda has a better understanding than Monica. It's like, well, no, I screw with these people's lives. They should hate me.
Yeah. Yeah, she
Anyway,
was
so
Wanda, like you're saying, was okay with it. I mean, she understood that they didn't like her.
yeah, that was the only I would put that as a little bit like, yeah, I don't know.
I agree with
That
that.
isn't. But yeah, anyway, so she's, saying, "Hey, I've got to go learn about this power," and she flies off
Yep.
in her really, really, really great costume.
And my son yelling the whole time right
Oh, what's he
now.
say?
I thought an Avenger was going to show up. I thought Captain America was going to show up. Because all he's thinking
Oh,
is that he's heard that somebody big is showing up.
oh man, all the big, yeah. We'll say this, guys. We'll say this real quick because this is a good time to say it. We've followed a lot of insiders, and there's a lot of them that are crap, and there's a lot of them that know their stuff, and they have real sources and real knowledge of what's going on. And for a fact, there was a scene filmed with Doctor Strange and Wanda. I mean, that's a fact.
Okay.
So everyone's kind of like, whoa. I mean, we know this happened, so where was it? So everyone's pretty sure that it's just going to be a scene that they just throw into Doctor Strange too. But regardless, it's like everyone's talked and talked about it and it didn't happen. So it's like, well, ultimately everyone got it wrong.
In my opinion, though, I don't know how I say this because there was actors on the show that were saying there's going to be a big cameo appearance.
Yeah.
Very similar to Luke Skywalker and The Mandalorian.
I
And I think
agree.
that was Elizabeth Olsen that said that.
Yes. And I think you're right. Let's go into this real quick before we get to the end credit scenes. I think it's important to talk about is that, yeah, as much as I really like the show, it's tainted a little bit because of all these Easter eggs and then the actors and producers themselves saying, hey, the actress who plays Monica, I cannot wait for you to find out who the engineer is. It's great. Okay, she was a nobody. Paul Bettany saying, oh my gosh, I've wanted to work with this actor for so many years and it's such an honor to be able to finally do so. And then that's a Paul Bettany. Then Elizabeth Olsen saying, we have a Luke Skywalker level cameo. None of that happened. None of that's true. And that verbatim came out of the voice of the actor's mouths.
Right.
So that is a little annoying because why would you do that? Then you set up these expectations.
Right.
And you already have a quality product. You have a great show. Why do you? Because you and I, we all feel a little disappointed because, where was Tobey Maguire? Where was Chris Evans or Benedict Cumberbatch? Where were these big cameos? Well, they didn't happen.
If you remember, that's what I was saying to you on episode 8 when we were talking about it, that what I was worried about is the things that are going to get highlighted are the missed opportunities with the Easter eggs and the whole storylines, what they were promising, and what our expectations were because of what we were seeing, and not just what this series actually was. There's people out there that are saying they think this is a below average series, but I don't think it's because of the series. I think it's because the expectations that everybody thought didn't get met.
If none of that stuff was out there beforehand, this would have ended and everyone would have been like, wow, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
Because it was really good. So why they decided to do this, maybe they're trying to drum up interest, but it's backfired. Should have let the and by setting these really unrealistic expectations, the product.
Greg Kane asks, could all of these people be saying that just to keep people watching the show until the end? And that's what I was going to ask you. Greg, this is a great point. By doing all these Easter eggs, by doing the Grim Reaper, by doing the commercials, by doing the interviews, and I think studios are going too far with these interviews because I think some of them are set up that all we talked about on Twitter and social media was
Right.
WandaVision for 9 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they did this perfectly. But the thing they have to watch out for is that doing all this almost ruined their series that was good.
Yeah, I mean, it's the opposite of what The Mandalorian did, where you get
Oh, yeah,
hints
yeah.
of, you get Grogu signaling a Jedi. Hey, the studio, Jon Favreau, no one says anything about any Jedi or they don't say anything about any expectations. You're hoping it's a cool Jedi. You're like, well, maybe it's just Ahsoka. She comes back. But so when you don't say anything and the show's already popular, the show's
Right.
it's loved. It's a great show. It's phenomenal. But when you flipping have Luke Skywalker probably only behind Superman, I don't know, maybe he's right up there with Superman and Batman. Probably, yeah. Show up on The Mandalorian with no hint. It's the greatest thing in years to
Yep.
happen.
Yep.
So why you would ever reference, oh, it's a Luke Skywalker type cameo, and then it's literally nothing.
Nothing.
It's really bad. You taint what's already a great product.
Yep.
Let your work speak for itself because it's great.
Yep, I agree. Standing Streamer says, my wife loved it. She knew nothing of the expectations or the Easter eggs.
There you go.
And I think that's the only thing that I worry about on WandaVision is I do feel they did a great job. I do feel Elizabeth
Phenomenal.
Olsen and Paul Bettany knocked it out of the freaking park.
Yeah.
But
Oh, yeah,
but what they
absolutely.
did on the Easter eggs and expectations and all that, I
Yeah,
think it's tainted it.
it was too much. It's a little bit like Iron Man 3 going back to that is like
Yeah.
what do people talk mostly about Iron Man 3? Hey, they had some great moments in there and I love Robert Downey Jr. always, but like you might like, oh yeah, that stupid Mandarin twist really sucked. Yeah, that's probably in the top two things that's talked about for that movie.
And the top one thing that will be talked about on this movie, it's not going to be Scarlet Witch because we all know that was going to happen. It's not going to be Monica Rambeau because we knew what was going to
Yeah,
happen. It's not going
we
to be
knew she was
Agatha
coming.
Knows It All because we knew that was going to happen. It
Right.
was Evan Peters as Quicksilver.
Yeah. It was who was the engineer? Nobody. Who was the Luke Skywalker appearance? No one.
Yep.
So yeah, that's gonna taint it a little bit. That's why you're seeing today online. That's why you're seeing a lot of hot takes of what a massive disappointment this was, and that's really unfortunate because it's super awesome quality show.
And that's what I told you right away. Like after I watched it, I was like, I disagree. I thought it was good, and it
No,
was good.
you were spot on when you got to see it earlier than me, and you just said, "Look, it's great." And I asked you a question like, "Well, people are kind of got their panties in a bunch," and you're like, "Well, I see why, but I
But it's
still
still
love it.
good.
It's
Yeah.
still good." Yeah.
Stain Streamer says maybe they didn't think WandaVision was going to be as good as it was, and maybe they were concerned based on the style that it was shot in. So that's why they were throwing the Easter eggs out. Because
Well,
everybody knows, Falcon Winter Soldier was 100% supposed to be first. And it would have
yeah,
helped it being first, not just because of the story, but to give us the action that we have missed with these movies.
yeah. I mean, from what we know, I guess we don't know for sure, but from what we've heard and seen, Falcon Winter Soldiers feels more traditional Marvel action
Yeah.
quality, Captain America, Black Widow kind of show. So it's like, hey, this is standard Marvel. This is what we're going to show you first. This is going to show you how great Disney Plus is. Well, pandemic screwed everything up,
Yep.
and they had to go with WandaVision, which was more of an experiment, which was more of a departure from what they usually do. But you're thinking, hey, we'll hook everyone in with Falcon Winter Soldier, then we'll keep you for WandaVision.
I want to say one last thing on what you just said before we get to the end credits. I remember a long time ago when they were talking about what was coming out on Disney Plus. I mean, they talked about Falcon Winter Soldier. They talked about Loki. They talked about Hawkeye. When they said WandaVision, I was like, all the others look cool. I'm a little leery of WandaVision.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being honest, and I'm going to tell you, my expectations were low, and it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone is really loving it. People, the first couple episodes may have been a little rough because of the style. And you're like, where is this going? But everyone has stayed with it and has gotten hooked, or they just waited until there were more episodes. Like, okay, I'll try it all. And yeah, it's been a great success. So I think go ahead.
If I would have wanted them to do something differently, I think the first 3 episodes they could have went faster with the sitcoms. I understand the sitcoms, what they were doing, but I think to have a third of your show be just really about the sitcoms. I mean, they did little things.
Right.
I feel 1 or 2 shows to be about the sitcoms. Put another show in there to explain more back. They didn't need to do Agatha as late as they did because we all knew the direction it was going in.
We knew she was going to be something major with it. Yeah, for sure.
So I would have wanted that earlier, and now we are building everything else to this point.
Yeah.
But the ending it was fine.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to go back and watch it all, like, as one piece. I mean, that's a little long when you're talking about a series, but...
I mean, it's only 6 hours. If you take out the credits, it's probably shorter than that.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, it's good. So let's get to the end credits here.
All right, so the end credits, we'll go right into it. The greatest thing that happened to it is the one guy that I absolutely despise and have from the very beginning since I've seen him.
You have a burning hatred for Hayward.
I do. He got arrested. Now, the whole burning question on Twitter was, why did Hayward get arrested?
I mean, it's a little bit of a plot hole, like, oh, hey, you just ran. Was he not sanctioned to do all this?
He soared.
I guess he went rogue.
I guess building a vision and putting them online is... I mean, I was thinking in my brain, well, maybe it's because he was shooting at 2 little kids and Monica took some bullets. Maybe that's why he needs attempted murder. Yeah,
I mean, I guess you just compile the fact that he was a shitbag, and
I think it was weird that he got arrested. I mean, a director of the department just gets arrested right away. It's just a little weird.
It's a little easy out kind of thing. I'm like, okay, Jimmy Woo says he did all this. We're like, well, okay,
but, Jimmy, you're the guy.
I guess Jimmy says what Jimmy says. Jimmy gets. So, but anyway, he got arrested, which was good. So,
did you like that Darcy was only in one scene, like only said 2 words? You're okay with that?
I mean, I like Darcy, but I don't love Darcy. I mean,
so you're good with that?
It probably would have made sense to have her a little bit more active in the ending for sure.
She wasn't in the last 2 episodes at all, almost.
No. I'm thinking she's got another part to play somewhere.
No, it's coming up soon.
Yeah.
And now you see Monica talking to Jimmy Woo, and then some lady comes up, looks like working with Jimmy Woo, comes up to her and says, we need to talk with you in the theater.
Yep.
And now, this is where Captain Marvel 2 comes in.
Oh, yeah, we get a little scrawl action. Yep. Here we go. She changes it into a scrawl and says, hey, someone needs to talk to you. Our mutual friend wants to talk to you. So I need to watch this again, but I think she's referring to Nick Fury, right?
Yeah, I don't think she's referring to Captain Marvel at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, that's what I got too. It's Nick Fury. And Nick Fury's up. He needs to talk to her, and she's like, well, where is he? Or I think they say he. And that's when, you're right. That's when she points up there. And so, as we know, we saw in Spider-Man Far From Home, Nick's up in the Sword space station. So he's up there. So Monica's on her way up there. That's going to lead right into Captain Marvel 2 and Secret Invasion, the Disney Plus show.
Yep. And
So,
Stan Streamer says he thought they were referring to Nick Fury also.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost 100% sure.
So we think the movie's over. My son's yelling at me, cussing me out because there wasn't an Avenger on there, no Captain America.
Oh, no, he's mad.
And then we have another cutscene, end scene.
Yeah,
Were you expecting that?
I did know about it beforehand,
Well,
yes.
okay, would you have expected to unless you wouldn't have known about it?
No, I wouldn't have expected it, but I probably would have let the credits play just to be on the safe side, but
Okay.
I wouldn't have expected it.
And it's somewhere in the mount. It looks nice, Montana-ish, maybe. I don't.
Go back and watch The Incredible Hulk. I'm not saying it's the same, but it's very similar to the cabin Edward Norton's at the very end of The Incredible Hulk, where he looks like he's gaining control of how to transform into the Hulk. But anyway,
Okay.
Looks very similar.
Okay. So Standing Streamer says, "Of course you did. He was expecting 2 credits. Of course you were."
Of course.
And then he says he always lets the
course.
credits play. So she's at this cabin, just sitting there right in the base of a mountain. And then her tea's done. You hear it go off, and she goes in.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, this next one reminded me so much of a different movie.
Ooh, what's that?
Where now Wanda is learning the Darkhold, going through, and basically she's out of her body. And just like Doctor Strange was when he was learning while he was sleeping.
Yeah, that's what she's doing. She's astral projecting.
Yep.
So her body's moving around. I think that's the astral projection, learning the Darkhold. I did expect, though. I was thinking she's getting the tea and we're going back into the bedroom and we're going to see White Vision. But we didn't.
Oh, you thought that?
I thought maybe, yeah, like, oh, okay.
While he's trying to learn some of his memories, you were thinking, okay.
Yeah, they've reconnected and she's back with Vision and she's learning her power. But we didn't get that. But this is what I'm like, uh-oh. She's reading the Darkhold, learning the Darkhold. This is not good.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, is Wanda going to be the villain or the hero? And then at the end of the show, you're thinking, she's the hero. She's still a hero. Man, I'm pretty convinced that she's not going to be an ultimate villain. I don't think she's going to go horrible villain.
You think she'll be a villain to try to get things right the way she wants it, but also have a conscience at the same time?
Yeah, I think she's going to come into conflict with Doctor Strange because of the Darkhold.
Okay.
He's going to want it. He's going to tell her, don't use it. She's going to say, hey, I've got to learn. So I don't think she's going to be full on villain, but I think she's going to be I think she's going to be more of an antagonist against Doctor Strange in the next movie.
Didn't Doctor Strange, and I've only watched it once, so I'm not as knowledgeable at this as you.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. But didn't he study a dark arts book too?
Well, there was tons of books there at the Ancient One's temple. And so he was studying the one about, the Eye of Agamotto that allowed which actually ended up containing the Time Stone, which controlled, the ability to reverse time. So he was learning all the books. And then he got to the one that was forbidden, which contained that, which, what was his name? Khaleesi or Khaleesi? I can't remember his name. The villain of the movie, who was a worshiper of Dormammu, who is like one of Doctor Strange's oldest villains. But anyway, yeah, there were tons of books, but the Darkhold was not in that movie.
Right, and I knew that, but I just thought there was a dark, like some kind of book that they were like, no.
You are right, and it was that book that was kind of talking about things that shouldn't be learned that pertain to Dormammu. So, yeah.
Does Doctor Strange have any kind of knowledge of what Scarlet Witch is?
Good question. I mean, in the comic books, she's not the Scarlet Witch isn't a title in the comics. That's just her nickname. And yeah, she's very powerful. She's a mutant first, but she has these hex powers that also are very mystical, and she needed sorcery training. So, but this myth of the Scarlet Witch is not a thing in the comics. So,
Okay.
but he has assisted her over the years and really assisted her after her mental breakdown to help her control things.
I don't ever remember him being worried about her, like,
No.
not fear, but you know what I mean.
Well, in the old days, no, never. But after House of M, when she altered reality, then it was like, yeah, we've really got to keep
So now you
our
think
tabs on.
it's gonna go that direction for him.
Yeah,
because he's gonna hear what was going on.
Oh, he's definitely gonna hear, and yeah, there's gonna be some big issues. But as we talked about, we do hear Billy and Tommy's voice, like, "Mom, help, help." So not only is she learning the Darkhold, which is bad, I do think this is where the villain of Doctor Strange 2, which we believe to be Nightmare, is going to have Billy and Tommy, their soul or whatever they are, and he's going to use that against Wanda. And so she's going to be like, "I'm getting my kids back, Doctor Strange. I don't care what you've got going on.
You stay out of my way.
You stay out of my way. I'm getting my kids back." Well, if you do that, you're going to affect the multiverse. I don't care. I'm getting my kids back. So that's, I think, that's
you're seeing that the
go.
direction of it's gonna go.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
That'd be interesting. Okay.
So it was a great episode. I thought, outside of the Easter eggs, and I did not get Wonder Man. Damn it.
That's another one. Why did they even do that? I mean, really?
Yeah, that one, well, makes me a little even more mad because I'm such a huge fan of the character, and then you tease him, the showrunner, with a freaking picture.
When you're talking about WandaVision.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I'm still thinking, like, man, there really could have been some really easy ways to introduce Wonder Man with this whole setup, but it didn't happen.
Standing Streamer asks, was Ralph Boner the missing witness?
That's a great observation. And I think you're right. He looked kind of like a slob loser. Like maybe he was into some trouble and was on.
And I guess the man cave part was in the attic. And then he even said to Monica, they cannot hear you in here.
Yeah, well, we saw that. I mean, whatever Agnes had wrapped around his neck had given him powers of Quicksilver and some kind of, ability to keep her quiet. So, yeah, I bet you that's a great point. I think we could almost call that a safe bet that Ralph Boner was the guy that Jimmy Woo had to contact.
The disappointing part about this is I don't think we'll ever even find that out. It's another thing that they talked about that they aren't going to go into ever detail about.
Yeah, it does seem like, well, guys, why don't you wrap up some of those plot holes? Because, this is something that I wouldn't even, don't tell me in another movie because it's really not, it doesn't matter now.
Right, but I do think they're going to tell us the aerospace engineer in another movie. I think they're going to tell us it in Captain Marvel 2, and it's going to be Adam Brashear.
I agree. And, so maybe they'll say, like, well, I wasn't lying.
Yeah.
You'll see him eventually. I never said WandaVision.
I didn't say when.
I didn't say WandaVision. So, I think you're right. I think it's going to be Adam Brashear. I hope it is. I mean, we know Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four are coming. So I hope this means they're introducing Blue Marvel Adam Brashear. That would be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I don't have much else. I did like it.
Yeah.
I do.
I thought it was good.
I understand the frustrations that people have about the Easter eggs, but the unfortunate part is I feel you did it to yourself a little bit too, and nobody will admit to that.
We all did it. Yeah, we all did it to ourselves. So I think that's where it's like, hey guys, go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
Without, how it's going to end, and just watch it and appreciate it for the good job they did. I mean, the only criticism I'll give is to the creators for, painting themselves in a corner by doing unnecessary Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So
I will say, without a doubt, going into this, I didn't know a lot about Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany on their characters of Vision because they didn't go into detail about them. I'm happy they did,
yeah,
and it proved to me
yeah.
that these two right here, they can be the it people of the Avengers going forward, without a doubt. I think
Oh
Elizabeth
yeah,
Olsen
yeah,
could carry it. I think she's amazing. She's
yeah.
going to be a star.
If I don't want, if I don't see Scarlet Witch again in the like Avengers 5, I'm gonna be like, meh. Yeah. So I agree. I agree.
I think she's heading to stardom. I think you
Yep,
better get
I
going,
think
right?
so.
I think we're done. I liked it. That's all
Hey
I have to
guys,
say.
yeah, we give it high marks
All
with a
right.
little asterisk.
There you go.
All
I'll
right.
see you guys later.
All right, we are out.